Episode 126 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Support the show at patreon.com/the Wilderness Podcast. Our supporter of the week is Robert Yu. We're also brought to you by Audible. Get a free month and a free audiobook at audibletrial.com/wild. Welcome to episode 126 of the Wilderness Podcast. That's right, you heard it. We are maxed combat now. What's the next milestone?
200 mil?
Maybe. Actually, probably. What do you need to get into clan chats? 125? I hope not.
150?
150, there's the next milestone. Anyways, I'm your host, Dilz, and with me, as always, is Deagin.
Hey, how's it going?
This week, Jagex sends out a message to the community where they bring up a few issues with the game that many people are aware of. Things like polls, player support, or customer support, PvP. So they dive into that.
Put on the that crab music.
Yeah.
And in the background, and everyone will know what they're addressing.
So everything in those crab music videos, they kind of address it in a dev blog. So good stuff. But we also have Dead Man Mode coming up this Saturday, as well as some quality of life in that dev blog there. As for community chatter, I didn't see a whole lot that happened, but there was a mess up from one of the J mods, and this goes back to that whole defense level scandal. Anyways, someone gets affected 2 times by that, so we'll go into that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else happen in the community?
Nothing really worth talking about.
Yeah, guess not. Anyways, what did you do this week?
Bit of RuneScape. I've been working a bunch.
Nice.
Yeah. So just like work and then play a couple, an hour or so of RuneScape, kind of just chill, and then rinse and repeat.
Anything interesting in the RuneScapes?
A bit. I guess I've done like a decent amount of like raiding in my free time. Like I just
cool.
We'll do a couple raids a night, I guess, and then
Chambers of Xeric raiding or Theater of Blood?
Both.
Oh, no way. Any progress in the Theater of Blood category?
Yeah, like we cleared it and stuff.
Nice. Is it on farm now?
I mean, we pretty much had it on farm. No, let me rephrase it. We had we were capable of clearing it, but it's just minor mess ups, and then we also were learning in a trio. So once we got a 4-man, we're it's way easier.
Yeah. Is the 4-man that big of a difference? I imagine it would be, but yeah, it's hard to tell without actually having done it.
Yeah, trio, you're really limiting yourself and all that stuff. But in 4-man, it's a lot easier. I was pretty comfortable with Theater of Blood for a while. We would just die just due to silly things happening within the raids itself. Finally, I was a little dry at Xeric's. And I got a duo dex, which was nice. And then doing a learner raid. And we got a 3-man ancestral split.
Ooh, not bad.
Which was nice because first item for one of the guys.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. So now I'm rocking max strength gear for Xeric's. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
You looking at, not Theater of Blood. Are you looking at the Inferno this year?
Yeah.
You think you're going to be diving into that?
Yeah, at some point. For Inferno, pretty much, I have 2 options if I want to keep doing PVM specific grinds and hold off on maxing.
Did you say PVS?
PVM, sorry,
okay.
I was stifling a burp. I could grind, right now I could grind out a Kodai wand and full Justicar, and then get an Arcane Shield. And then start doing Inferno. Because if I do Inferno, I want to do it in Justicar.
Okay. I think that's kind of the meta now, right?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's an option. If I want to do Theater of Blood, if I want to focus on that, what I would be doing is selling everything I have and rebuilding with a scythe.
Another rebuild?
I could. It's in I could do that right now if I wanted to. But I had some suspicions, which I don't know if you want to talk about now or during community chatter / throwback to Deagin soapbox.
Oh, this is going back to like episode 20.
Yeah, if you want me to go into one of those tangents, or like something like that I had suspicions of, and then like like a theory about, and then it kind of was proven this week.
Well, you can't tease it without going into detail now.
Okay, so we'll go into it later then.
Oh,
No, so I don't really know how to like phrase it, but like it's kind of weird. So this is going way back to like day one of Theater of Blood, when we like it was like me, you, and then a couple of my buddies were throwing attempts on it on day one.
Yeah.
I had this weird suspicion because Theater of Blood is like looked at on like such a big pedestal of like, dude, you got like 100 kill count of Theater of Blood. Whoa, dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's like, I mean, the Inferno is still that pedestal because it is that hard, but
Yeah.
Theater of Blood, it seems close to it, even though it's not in difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You're helping me get my point across. There's like a oh, this guy does this kind of content, right? And then like from there, I wouldn't say like if you do Theater of Blood or have an Inferno cape, you're an elitist, but
You're in the top 1%.
Yeah, everyone who like is obsessed with that type of content and they really enjoy that type of play style
Mm-hmm.
typically are like a little bit of elitist, right? I'm not saying everyone who does it, but like that's where you start bumping into like
The professionals.
yeah, like Oblivion clan mates, where like you ask a dumb question, they're gonna give you a dumb answer,
And you're kicked.
yeah. So like I remember me thinking like, oh man, I can't wait to do Theater of Blood. That's super cool, right?
Mhm.
And then during my attempts, I had a lot of fun doing the attempts and all that. And then I stopped, one, because it was like killing my bank. But then two, I started to notice that like what I have enjoyment about it will soon be lost if like by kill count 50, I'm going to be really bored with Theater of Blood. You know what I mean?
Just because you have it on farm, you can do it in autopilot mode.
The fun like of the content is challenge, right? That's how I probably should have started off by this whole thing, right?
Gotcha. Yep.
Where like Chambers of Xeric is like the fun of it. It's challenging. You can pick it up though. You can get better. You can like learn how Ohm works, and you can kind of fiddle with mechanics and like tinker with. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like you can be like super sweaty and try hard with it and get enjoyment like that. But in general, like Chambers of Xeric is just like fun.
Yeah.
At least for me. At least for like the people that like I raid with, the people that I've been teaching. It's very like you can have a conversation while you do it.
Oh yeah.
You can joke around. Something bad happens, like you do a teleport and someone like messes up and they teleport you for 50, and you're like, ouch, but you kind of like laugh it off. Theater of Blood is very much like you talk about what's going on at that time, at that moment. You make a big mistake, man, it's okay, whatever. Well, we'll get past this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I accidentally spread fire to you in Xeric. Well, you'll just make a joke with the fire festival, or just say it was intentional, or a joke, whatever. And then you laugh about it, and then you deal with it. Continue what you're talking about. But like Theater of Blood, it's kind of like, is disdain the right word? There's kind of like, you fucking got me killed at this boss, man.
Well, it's also much more punishing, right?
Yeah.
You mess up, and
if you die or you get someone killed, for the rest of the raid, there's this weird undertone of like, nice, we only did it with 2 deaths.
Yeah.
Well, let me explain why I died quickly. You know what I mean? That type of a thing. I died because this person messed up. I mean, that's not like what's happened with me in my experience, but like you catch glimpses of that, especially on streams, and then all this stuff. And
it's kind of, I always find myself relating Theater of Blood to some World of Warcraft raid, but you know, I did it a lot in the past, and there's kind of they're comparable, much easier than Chambers of Xeric, right?
Even then, though, well, like I was in a pretty decent WoW guild up until battle against the devs, Battle for Azeroth, that killed all guilds.
Okay.
The second you have like a raid on farm, you just joke like, you know, we're clearing heroics in a night, easy, and then you're having fun with your buddies.
But like,
Theater, but the thing is, Theater of Blood, you don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen that video? It's the World of Warcraft guild, and the guy's like, the raid leader is super aggro, and he's like, if you die, that's minus 10 DKP.
Yeah, that's like an extreme, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Theater of Blood has similar tones where you're like, you die, you're just like, no one's gonna call you out on it, but if you die a second time, you're gonna like, I don't think I'm gonna go in the next raid. I need a break.
Well, like, even then, it's like someone dies enough, and then it's like, just to clarify, are you taking a split from this?
Yeah.
Being like, you're not really helping us. You know what I mean? Are you taking a split from this? Or if one person isn't dying, then people are like, are you free for alling this? Like, because you're probably gonna get the item. Are we expecting you to share it with us?
Yeah.
The pull to Theater of Blood is kind of like the challenge, but then also the money.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Xeric's money's nice. The challenge is like it's fun, it's good, it's different, obviously, but like there's just like way more like of a lax atmosphere.
It's because when you die, you die too many times, you start bringing down the team points. But really, it's not as bad as when you're bringing a learner on it, because you're like, we're still going to finish it. Doesn't matter if you die a bunch. We will still finish it with or without you, and it's not a big deal. Yeah,
like me and my buddy typically will, like, I've been doing a lot of learners where like me and my buddy will jump in, he'll find someone that's like streaming on Twitch first attempts, right? And then get a link, or like, we'll watch like people like learning how to do like Xerics, and they're making a lot of mistakes. We're just kind of joking around with them on, stream or whatever, giving them some tips. And then afterwards, it's like, do you want to go with us? Mm-hmm. And then we'll like show them all the little tricks, all that stuff. I've never had anyone say like, this was fucking awful. Like, it's always like, man, been so much fun, all this stuff, right? It's always like a positive thing. Where how I got like introduced to Xerics was very much that. Like, I streamed my first solo raid, and it was 3 hours. I did like Vanguard's Vespula. I had like the worst layout.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And then it was like, do you want to do a trio? I was like, sure. And then it was like, oh man, this is really fun. Show you a lot of tricks. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then from there, like, man, this is really fun. And then it kind of like, then that's how you get into it. For Theater of Blood, when my first 2 kills were from a friend that was like, yo, let us carry you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty much, we did 3 attempts. I was super dead weight for the first 2 attempts, and then I like carried my own. And they were like, "Wow, you actually carried your own. Wow." And you're like, "Okay, thanks. I guess that's the shittiest compliment you can ever get."
Yeah,
yeah. But then like you're like, I got my first 2 kill counts, and then they were kind of like, "There, we don't want to carry you anymore because like it's not like this is. It's just like it's hard. This is like, this might, you know what I mean? Like, this is just like not worth our time."
Sure, yeah, you're holding them back a bit, right?
Yeah. But like for Xerics, it's like, oh, this guy died twice, like, or 3 times or 4 times. Like, it's not really a big deal. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna have fun. Yeah, it's like just like the way, though, like the higher end PVM content progresses, kind of goes in 2 different directions. And like, anyways, so I went and joined a couple Discords on another Discord account using, I think I might have mentioned my friend before, but using his RuneScape account, pretending to like you. So you can go through the forums on RuneScape, and you can like apply, join Discords, ask him questions, all this stuff. And the account that I was using, he's like level 111. He has like Barrel Gloves, Fire Cape, God of War's kill count, and one of my goddamn bonds that he stole. That bastard.
Oh, to that account.
Yeah. So he's not like a veteran in PVM in any way. But you join these PVM based guilds, and you just like or clans, sorry, and you like have copy paste. This is like your typical person wanting to get into PVM, which is like, hey, I started doing God Wars dungeons. All my friends quit. I want to find people to do it with.
Yep. And
then I want to start learning Xerics and Tob. And then typically you get in them. They're like, yeah, we'll just like trial you, right? We don't want like a scammer or like, whatever. And then so you ask someone who likes Xerics, and they like kind of get excited, being like, dude, you got to get into this. It's going to be sick. Man, you're almost there. You're almost there. Just get like 4 more levels. Just get a little bit of herbal. You know what I mean? Like, And then you ask, like, I asked a couple people that were like big theater blood raiders, and they're like, you're not ready. You know what I mean? Like, they have like this really weird tone about it. And I'm
nice
like,
try, kid.
yeah. It was just like super weird that like even though like there's like a lot of things that I'll talk about in RuneScape where like, I might come off as like an elitist or like kind of like snooty, snobby about, looking at like why I want to do Theater of Blood, but then preferring Xeric and stuff, because I couldn't comprehend why someone would want to do Xeric over like Tob, made me kind of like realize like the level of like disconnect that like some people have in the game in terms of like.
So it just comes to like the PVMer mentality, like it's different from Chambers of Xeric versus Theater of Blood. Well, same like, person, but different mindset for the two raids.
Different mindset, but I mean, like, I'm using that as like a very clear cutoff of like how like the community can be split in like PVM or something, or like maybe even PvP. I don't know like much about like just like elitism or something. I'm only using that because I can't think of another word right now.
Okay.
I had all my notes written down on my computer, but we have to turn it off, so I can't reference them. So it might be a little like scrambled.
But what you're trying to get at is that the player's mindset for Theater of Blood is a lot more like, don't fuck around. That we're here for seriousness, not fun.
Well, no, they have fun. They obviously like they're gonna do it because they get some fun out of it. But like, it's they're different reasons, like the different like outcomes, right? Like their fun is money, getting that sweet kill count up so they can flex it.
Yeah, but they take it more serious. Whereas Chambers of Xeric, it's a lot more.
Well, you still get those people for Xeric, right? Like those guys that speedrun, but like entry level wise, or like my general feelings towards what I've seen happen, I guess, or like between like a PVM clan that like focuses on Xeric towards Theater of Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like even those discords were very different in how people talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I would like, at first it like boggled my mind, but then it all made sense because I had one friend where like years, like when Theater Blood came out, he like, we did day one stuff and he was like, I'm not interested in Tob. I'm like, man, how can you not be interested? And then he would never really tell me the reason. This week, when I kind of like did it, I had a lot of fun getting like my first, like, I wasn't carried. I was deathless. I did like perfectly fine on Theater of Blood, but like it clicked and it was like, that was fun. But now I can completely see why people don't want an extreme, like a lot of this type of content. Where like, if you listen to like me, maybe even like 8 months ago or something, right? I'd be like, we need more stuff like Theater of Blood and Inferno. I think it's really, you know what I mean?
But now you're saying no.
I'm saying it's fine, but like I understand both sides of the coin now. I feel, or both sides of I just mix up two things. I see both sides of the coin or whatever. I understand both sides of like why people are against or for it.
Okay.
And it's just because like it harbors this like, yeah, weird community. Like it just harbors like two different people just get different things out of that, which is fine, but Jagex can't just focus on one of them. But yeah, does that make any sense?
Yeah, so just to wrap it up, and I'm generalizing it. I know there's outliers in either side of it, but it seems like the community in general for Chambers of Xeric is a lot more laid back versus Theater of Blood, where they're a lot more serious.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
And I only bring this up because I started thinking, what do I want out of Gauntlet that's going to be coming out with Song of the Elves and all that update, right?
The only difference is that's solo content, right?
Exactly, though.
So like the mindset kind of falls on you as the person.
But
whereas Theater of Blood, since you're interacting with others and you're in groups, you kind of fall into this mob mentality, I guess.
But like, think about
bad word, but you know.
But the main thing is that like, so we have Chambers of Xeric, which you can do like 1 to like 100 people, right?
Sure.
Doesn't matter raid size. Theater of Blood, you can do like 3 to 5, but you're probably gonna want to go for 4. That's more efficient. Blah blah blah. Gauntlet, you can only do as 1, and so like how they do Gauntlet, I think it's really important that they know who they're trying to make the Gauntlet geared towards, in terms of like, is it going to be super serious and super difficult and like a feat of strength if you can like get this many clears per hour or like points, whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be like really laid back and chilled and like you can kind of just like chat with your buddies on Discord? You don't have to sit down. It's not like Inferno where you have to like, can't talk, got to flick, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's all on the player, but if someone's doing something on their own that they don't enjoy at all, like, you know what I mean? It kind of like push it like the next step of PVM content.
I do think the Jagex needs to have, you need both. You can't just have raids like Chamber of Xeric, and you can't just have raids like Theater of Blood, because it is nice to have content where like you're in a group and you're like, all right, guys, let's be a little serious right now.
Yeah.
That is definitely appealing. And then Chambers of Xeric, also appealing, but two different ways. But like me as a person, I'm not one way or the other. I'm kind of like, depends how I'm feeling, right? Like sometimes I'm going to want to, sit down and take it serious. I want to be one of those like, okay, step out of the fire. Okay, change to ranged. All right, get ready to pray melee. And we need a tank. We need to, you know what I mean? It's kind of fun sometimes to be in that type of environment where it's like, it's a high risk, high reward.
Yeah. But like, even then we're like, yeah, it's just super weird how more strict. Like you can do like Chambers of Xeric and like mage with the defender on, and it's like somewhat like, you know, I'll make a joke about it, right? I'll like poke fun, like, hey, nice defender you got there, haha. Kind of like,
yeah,
be good if you took it off while you're maging, but like it's not a big deal. But then like Theater of Blood, it's like, dude, get that. What the fuck are you doing, man? You're losing so much DPS. Just open up your equipment, drop a brew. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, it's kind of like, keep in mind, that's not like my experience with Theater of Blood. It was just like, cool, I cleared it. Well, why? Like, it was fun, I guess, but I didn't really feel accomplished for getting like non-carried clear type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
It was literally like, yeah, it was fun, but I kind of want to do Xeric's. Like, I literally like went and did a couple raids of like Xeric's, and like, then I was talking to like my one buddy, and he was like, yeah, I agree. You know what I mean? Like, I can see where you're coming from that. So I thought it'd be worth talking about. I don't know. But that being said, yeah, it's pretty much what'd you do this week?
Right. My week. Per usual, school and a little bit of work, a little work, and RuneScape and stuff like that, and some real life stuff that's not really fun. School's going good. School's been getting pretty busy. So if you don't, I'm in radio right now, and kind of the podcast kind of inspired that, because when I wanted to go back to school, wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So far, it feels like radio's the right choice. It's a lot of fun. RuneScapes though, got a lot done. Well, been cracking away at those elite diaries, let's just say. So I'm at 86 rune crafting, and I need 91. Mm-hmm. So I'm making progress there. And I'm also doing thieving when I'm able to actually focus. So I'm doing Pyramid Plunder because I kind of fucked up and didn't get my thieving up when the Ardy Nights was going on. Mm-hmm. But it kind of worked out. I got a Pharaoh Scepter the other day doing it.
Huge. How much did that go for?
It's like 7 mil, I think. I haven't sold it yet. But yeah, that was kind of wild. Like, I was on my phone, right? And on your phone, everything's much more delayed, like my reaction, because it takes you a minute to be like, what the fuck is that? You got to hold down for a second.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nuts. So yeah, I'm doing some Pyramid Plunder still. And then I've been doing some bossing with some of the guys from the clan chat. Been doing some wilderness bosses. Those are like Callisto and Venenatus. Such laid back bosses.
Yeah.
You don't have much to worry about. And
Pkers.
I never see Pkers.
Really?
Me and a guy from the clan chat, we spent a couple hours one day doing Callisto. We must have killed like at least 50. Mm-hmm. Didn't see one PKer. Not one. Now, I did get PK'd once, but that was at Demonic, at the
ruins?
Yeah, the ruins. Demonic Ruins. The Anakarl teleport where the greater demons are. Mm-hmm. So I got PK'd there, but none from any of the bosses. No Venenatus, no Callisto. And I honestly, it has to be because of the Rev Caves. All the PKers I'm assuming they're all going there. Because before the Rev Caves, I've done a bunch of Callisto, and every trip, it would end with me not getting PK, but being chased at the least. It was never like your
trips ended because clans logged in.
Yeah, clans or a solo PK who caused you to run away. Yeah, and it's just not happening now. And I've done Callisto a bunch and Venenatus a bunch since, and yeah, I literally don't see any of them. I saw one PK at Venenatis, and it was it was a pure, so it couldn't touch us.
Yeah.
So it's that's interesting.
I think a lot of it's because like if you ever actually try and PK at those bosses, you just sit there and hop, find a dude, you get like 100k, hop. Like it's really boring. Or you go to any Rev Cave world and you just kill like everything you see there.
Yeah. So that's it. That has to be it. PKers have to be going to Rev Caves instead. Which, is that a problem? I don't know. Problem in the sense, like, is that healthy for PvP?
So, depends how you look at it, right?
Whenever you say so like that, I'm just like, oh, I open up a can of worms, didn't I?
Well, here we go. It defeats the purpose of Callisto, Venenatis, Vedian. It defeats the purpose of those bosses because those bosses came in as an answer to Wilderness Rejuvenation.
Yeah, that was the first rejuvenation, right? They've done it twice.
Even with the skilling resource area, that was another way to bring in Wilderness Rejuvenation. And then this goes back this is going back when Rev Caves first came in.
Yeah.
And I argued that Rev Caves does such a good job of giving a place of PKers to go and like, kill people that it doesn't rejuvenate the wilderness at all.
Yeah. So like
it's counterproductive.
They're always looking for this food chain or this cycle of PvP, right? This is when they talk about rejuvenation. This is the goals they're trying to hit. So you have, because people complain, why, if you're trying to rejuvenate the wilderness, why are you bringing in PVMers? Just let us PVM outside of the wilderness. It's like, but what they aim for is to get PVMers into the wilderness. This causes PKers to PK them, but then it causes clans to PK the PKers.
Yeah.
And then it has this circle. Well, it's not even really a circle, but a food chain of like the very bottom is the PVMer and skillers, but there's supposed to be PKers and then PKers PKing those guys.
Yeah.
So that's their the environment they're looking for.
It's like fish, seals, and then orcas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, the thing is, like, the one thing I always brought up was that PKers don't want the wilderness to be active. They want to be able to just jump in, go to one place, one world, and just kill shit. They just want to kill people for money.
It depends, right? There are definitely PKers who are like, I would rather fight a PKer. Like a lot of people, me included.
Even then, yeah, it's the same spot though, right? Like if you could, when you go for a PK trip, you want to go somewhere and just find someone or something to, right? To kill.
Yeah.
You want to find a player to like actually kill. And they were like, this is too inconvenient to go into the wilderness, which is supposed to be barren wasteland type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it like, honestly, it was annoying to go with my buddies and hop through 30 worlds at Vedian only for like them to mess up their TB or I mess up a TB or the person that we're killing is like, they know the right answer, right? Like they're solo Vedian solo Venenatis. Well, they just like run east into singles and then they go south. And you're like, shit. Mm-hmm. Well, now who has the best chance to kill him? Go after them. We'll tag the dragons that he runs by.
Yeah.
And that's what the game plan turns into.
Where they're trying to bring it back to the old days of RuneScape, where like when I was playing back in 2005, I loved PKing and it was a lot different than how PKing is now. And that's kind of like I want to get back into PKing, but only because I want to do what I did before, but you can't do that anymore, which was you and like 4 friends, maybe even less. You go into the deep wilderness and you don't really world hop that much. You wander. You kind of have this little circle you go around and then you bump into like maybe a PVMer, maybe a PKer. But what happened eventually is your team of 5 guys would bump into another team of like 6 or 7 guys. And then it became like a fight and you guys all just kind of faced each other. Whereas now it seems to happen only within the Revenant caves.
Yeah. Well, this is actually, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember this because this is like core nostalgic wilderness where you were like, yo, I'm going to go my pure. And I met this guy in my pure. And he's got full rune, and he wants to go PK with me. I think I'm gonna just bring him out to like Wilderness 40 and kill him. And I remember being like, dude, and I remember sitting like at our house watching, and then you and this guy in full, well, you like were in chain body and stuff, but you were like a low level pure. He was just like a noob, and you're like, dude, I want to kill him. I want to kill him so badly. But and then he ends up attacking you at like
I remember
40,
this one, yeah.
and then you killed him. You had fucking sardines for
yeah,
food.
Sardines and trout.
Yeah, but you're like, it was like Lie to Me, that like British game show.
Okay.
Split Steel.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Where it's like, are we gonna like find someone, or are we gonna backstab you? But it's like that whole like interaction of like you're in the wilderness. It's like some movie type shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was like what people wanted in the wilderness, but the people that argued for like we need to rejuvenate the wilderness, they didn't actually want that. They kind of just like lied about it, right?
Sure.
What they wanted was Rev Caves, and they got it, which is, it's whatever, you know, easy money for everyone, gold for all.
Yeah. When like
it's a win-win-win. Jagex wins because people now have a place to go PK. The PVMers win because you make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, I was making average of like, even taking out the like 16 mil emblem, close to like 2 mil an hour.
Yeah, it's good money.
It's good money. And then the PKers can you can solo PK by, you know, you kill revs. Oh, look, there's a dude. Let me just quickly try and rush him. You can go in little groups. You can go in big clans. You know, like it's got something for everyone, but it kind of showed that like the people that were really vocal about wilderness rejuvenation didn't care. They just, it's, you know, because like now it's like, why are they in the world? Why are those bosses in the wilderness now? Like they're pretty much dead.
I think a lot of people want it to go back to those days, but a lot of people, like me included, we are aware that it's almost impossible to do that. PKing was very much like a thing to do for fun, and you could make some money, but like, do you remember the days of the Mage Bank PK spot?
Yeah.
Always people there. Like if you want to solo PK, you could do it in teams, but it was a solo area, right? Mm-hmm. So you could also solo PK. You had to be a high level, like 120 is where who is going to be fighting there. And I remember I had a buddy, like I PK with him. I'd be like level 113. He'd be 125 or something. And he spent all the time in the Mage Bank. And I would go with him, and then you're getting into these like fights, and it's like a 1v1, and you can't escape because you've both been teleblocked. So it's just a fight to the death. But really, there's no reason to be PKing there.
Yeah.
People did it because you'd find the odd person running there to the Mage Bank.
Or to do Mage Arena.
Yeah. But it also became the thing that Jagex wants, where PKers go there to fight because that's where other PKers are. But the PKers kind of don't remember why they came here in the first place. They're just there now. And everyone just kind of agrees, this is where we're going to fight. And you can get some big loot here because these are high levels who are bringing the top, not the top, but still the top PK gear.
Yeah.
But that's been lost, right?
Well, the people that really wanted to just PK like other PKers, you know what they do? They go to PvP worlds and they fight other people that are Scald. You go to Edgeville Risk, you go Risk at Edgeville, you go High Risk at GE, or you just find random people to rush. Or you sit at the Varrock telly spot waiting for some dude to accidentally telly in that thought they're in a non-PvP world.
Yeah.
Or you go fight the like it's kind of like that's where the old school feeling was. Where like, hey, you're in this part of the PvP world in like the Varrock loosely based area at Varrock to Edgeville. Mm-hmm. These are the kind of like the rules we're gonna use here. You're allowed to like NH Tribrid. Like, why not? You know? Here, like, you're high risking, so like, don't be a cheesy dick, or like, you can rush here, sure, but like, feel free, but you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, that's where like that aspect came in, and PvP Worlds kind of killed that feeling for the wilderness.
A little bit, because like, there's not much sense. It's a bit, but it's gonna be a struggle. You're gonna be sitting and not seeing people, but hell, like I'd be in teams and you're like, okay, guys, death dot here, and we're going to sit here for a minute.
Yeah.
You all pile on top of each other, and like you could still do that, but you're not going to really see anyone unless you're going to wait that out. But you would death dot, wait 5 minutes. You're like, okay, let's move to the King Black Dragon area. Go there. No, okay, let's go back to the gate that goes to the Mage Bank. Sit there for a bit, and you're like, and you'd bump into teams or you'd bump into solo people.
Yeah.
Whereas now you're going to bump into people doing clue scrolls.
Yeah, which is like, I'm definitely not saying we need to take out the wilderness, but it's like, this is a result of two different groups pretending to want the same thing.
It's kind of like,
in my opinion,
what happened with the wilderness, I feel, is comparable to what happened with buying and selling things, right? Where Falador Park used to go there and you would have to bounce between different areas within Falador Park to trade. And it was all very much talking to these people. Like, can I get it for this? You can maybe swindle a deal, or you're going on the forums and trying to make deals on there. Now you just go to the Grand Exchange.
Yeah.
So I feel like the wilderness is similar to that, where, because a lot of people miss those days of standing in Fally Park. I do too, but I know right now, if that's the only way to trade, hell, that's a lot of time I'm going to be spend trading and trying to buy things. Same with PKing. I go, man, I just want to wander the wilderness like I did back in the day. I'd spent a whole night doing that, and it was a lot of fun. But I know now it's like, well, it's much more efficient just to be in a PvP world and getting kills nonstop.
Even
or
then,
dying
though,
nonstop.
Have you, like, my last handful of encounters where I'm with a buddy or two and we're just walking around the wilderness. We're like going to hotspots. We're not like crazy good PKers. We have like a DDS for a spec weapon, right? We're not bringing D-claws and AGSs out. Or we have like a heavy ballistas or +1. But then you bump into other small groups, and they have like toxic staffs of the dead with D-claws. They spec and they run and they freeze and they swap out. Like you'll have like a 3v3, but really it's like guys are ragging your teammates while they're all spec trading one of you guys just because they want the kill. Like it's kind of relevant to like what people want when it comes to Theater of Blood versus Chamber of Xeric, right? Like some people are there for fun and hey, you might make some money. Some people are there to like show, like to assert dominance, to Dennis someone or something, right? Use the Dennis system.
I have no idea what that is.
It's Always Sunny reference.
Okay.
But they want to like kind of just like show off. They want to like make as much money as possible doing something and like kind of prove that they're better than, you know what I mean? In some way. Yeah. As a result, you get like the Grand Exchange versus how it used to be, which I think Grand Exchange is better, but you get like the wilderness experience and then like PvP worlds.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like if I could go back in time and PK like how I did before, it still might be a lot of fun, but I almost feel like at some point I'd be like, you know, this is great and all, but I wish it was a more concentrated area so I could just get in and out. And that's what PvP worlds kind of work, right? So, okay, so I will say, and it's funny, when this got released, if I thought I'd be saying this about it, I mean, I would be surprised. Where there's one piece, I mean, the Revenant Caves does a good job at that, what I was talking about, where you have PVMers, and you have Pkers, and then you have Pkers killing the Pkers to an extent. But another place that happens a lot too is the Chaos Altar for Dragon Bones and stuff, where you can get prayer experience.
Yeah.
Like, I've been a PVMer there and got attacked by PvPers, but I've also been saved by another PvPer coming in and being like, why am I going to take the little sardine when I could take the seal or the tuna?
Yeah.
So, and then you have these two PvPers who are facing each other. I've also been on the other side of it where I'm PKing there and I'm like killing PVMers or skillers. And then I realized, like, you know what? It's more fun to sit here and wait for other PKers to show up. So I would do that eventually. And that's where you have these 1v1s going down. And a lot of the time, these people they're not pros. They're better than I am. But our skill levels are still close enough where I'm like, hey, I kind of have a chance. Yeah. I'm still going to die. But, you know, it has me believe that if I do everything right, I might be able to pull it off this time. Yeah. So I'm surprised that piece of content actually works, right? Yeah, it works, but like, at least in my experience, and I guess like most times, it's like you go there to kill people,
but more oftentimes than not, the people are just PVMers trying to just save money.
Yeah.
And then the odd time you just bump into a PKer and you're like, nice, finally.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the worst when they don't want to fight and they just run away. And you're like, not today, I guess. All right.
Like, I've been fortunate in the sense that, I've been there with 2 other people and a team of 3 shows up and you're like, all right, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it is fun, especially if it's like an honest fight when they're not trying to just like spam spec one person to make them die. And like, hey, let's just use 6 declaw specs in total.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's still praying melee, we're just gonna, true story, we're just gonna dump all of our specs and then run because he's not dead. I mean, you get that, but like when you get those like true honest, like
there's 3 versus 3 and you all pair up.
Yeah, you're fighting a dude, but then you're watching your boys. Like, you got that? I know you're on TB, so you're kind of on a disadvantage. You want to like I can swap with you. I'm working this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do I need some help? Okay. And then you can kind of like switch up and do stuff like that. Like, that stuff's really, really fun. So bring arenas, Jagex. I'm kidding. But like,
I would love arenas.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
That's a conversation for another day, though.
Yeah.
That about wraps up my week, though. I mean, I got a Bandos chest plate. I didn't, but someone else did in the Bandos when I was doing. Just got to pepper that one in there.
Nice.
So it's been a lucky week for me.
So here's the thing with God War. No, I'm kidding.
When they created God Wars, what they really should have done.
Yeah.
Anyways, shall we jump into that news?
Yeah. Thankfully, a lot of the things that Jagex wants to address, well, they have a lot of things to address that we can talk about. We can kind of keep these discussions going.
First thing I want to say, it's amazing they even came out with this dev blog.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I'll say it again. Like, there's not many gaming companies in general. There's not many companies in general that I can see putting out, like, this is the complaints everyone has. We're going to address that. We are aware of them, and we are going to break down, like, you complain about something, but I'm going to break down what you actually mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many different complaints, and there's sometimes just, like, $11 meme, but they're going to break down, this is what it actually...
Yeah.
This is what it actually means.
Yeah.
So kudos on Jagex for this one.
So, starting off, a message to our community. That's how they phrase it. But, you know, Old School's now 6 years old. We just celebrated its 6th birthday, and, you know, they say it's safe to say that throughout that time, we've gone from strength to strength.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're all surprised by how great the game has turned out to be since it first came out. With mobile especially, like, who could have anticipated that it was this big, right?
I was like, I was like downplaying it, but like mobile has had a crazy effect on this game.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Like huge. I think mobile will be like the main reason why like this game will be around for so long.
Yeah. I mean, RuneScape's a very special game. It's not the greatest graphics. It's grindy as all hell. So you have a lot of different people who play it. The average person, like, there's a lot of people who might be like interested in RuneScape or they used to play it, but now they have kids, they have a job. They don't I don't have time to sit on a computer and be isolated from my wife and kids while I play this game. But now with mobile, they're like, shit, my girlfriend's watching The Bachelor. I can pull this out and watch it next to them.
The kids are watching Baby Shark songs on the TV.
Peppa Pig or something.
Yeah.
Or you bring them to the park and you're like, I'm going to pull this out.
And they're missing. Where'd they go?
This is going to be a big XP loss.
Yeah. There are some topics that they want to talk about, and let's open up the dialogue for some resolutions. I'm paraphrasing what they're saying, but that's pretty much what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're saying like the game's been so strong, but they can't lose sight of the things they need to work on.
Yeah. The first thing is player support and account security. Wow.
That's a biggin.
That's something they're going to smack everyone down. The big JMod smackdown. So we have seen many comments suggesting that our account security is not as effective as it needs to be, and that the systems we do have in place, such as the authenticator, are not doing enough to protect against things such as account hijacking. There is frustration at the lack of lost items policy, out of the extreme, but like in general, and account recovery difficulties that people encounter.
Yeah, okay, fair.
So my main worries are a lot of times when people get hacked, it's really their fault and they just blame Jagex. And
it's tough.
the thing is that they like will compare like, well, look at Blizzard. But the thing is that
you can't compare the two.
You can't not even like game like company size and stuff like that. Not even that into effect. The way the economies work, the solutions have to be very different. Or like if you get hacked in WoW and they sell all your items to a vendor, they take all your gold, they turn your account into a herblore mining farmer, and you get your account back. You just send them a message. They just restore everything back, and then you keep the herbs and shit that the bot.
Yeah.
When I was a kid playing Cataclysm, and I would get bored of the game, I would accept those emails from Bilzard, and I would get my account fish on purpose, and then come back like 3 months later, and I have like a bunch of free gold.
Yeah, and then you message Blizzard, yeah, we'll restore your things because you can't sell your items.
Yeah. The value of an item is like the achievement.
Yeah, you have to get it yourself. You're an Iron Man, but there's some things you can trade and buy.
Yeah, but yeah, you have to like do like raids and stuff to get the good gear. Yeah, all that stuff. And like the aftermath of the way Blizzard does it is like the state the game's in, where players have so much gold they won't ever leave their server because the game can't handle them. Like, true story. I had a guy in my one guild who was on another server. And I'm like, dude, just fucking come to our server. And he's like, dude, I have so much gold that Blizzard won't let me take it all. And I have to split it across all my accounts. Like, imagine that in like Jagex, where like, if there were servers, but like, if you had a max cash stack, you couldn't even bring it all to another server.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, imagine that concept where like, but what do you buy?
Yeah.
You can't buy anything because everything valuable is obtained through untradables.
So that's why the games are too different. Like,
yeah,
you can never restore it. If I'm not I'd have to go back and look at the story. But the Archer rings in RuneScape 3, right?
Yeah.
They restored it on someone's account. They accidentally gave them too much. One guy single-handedly crashed the economy of Archer rings.
Yeah.
They went from being like 3 mil down to like 25K in one day.
Yeah, and there's extreme abuses that can happen in RuneScape and that do happen in Blizzard.
And the thing is, too, if it becomes like just common that if you get hacked and lose your items, that they'll restore it, you better believe there's so many people are going to exploit that.
Oh, yeah.
So many. You just can't.
Everything will like inflate and like T-bows will be coming in like as if they were spawning outside of the farming guild or something. You know, like the rate on like certain items would be just because you can't like just track even, you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be extreme. I mean, there are ways to actually exploit the Grand Exchange and make a fuck ton of money and dupe items and stuff, which I'm not going to talk about because it's bad and they do catch most of the people that do it and ban them. So anyway,
I don't think we'll ever get to the point where you can just like, oh, I got hacked or scammed. They'll replace it. I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't think it should ever happen. It sucks. Your account gets hacked and you lose all your items. It sucks.
Untradables like pets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like agility squirrel guy.
Oh yeah, give
it back. You know, that type of stuff. I totally get.
Untradables. Yeah, sure. Return those items. That's totally cool.
But even like when it comes to account security, the way they have to deal with it, in my opinion, is like Twitch. Stop letting these accounts go wild, saying Wooks is quitting eight different.
It's
channels.
Tough though.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
with RuneScape specifically, you need to hire a guy on Twitch to sit there refreshing the page for RuneScape because it's like whack-a-mole.
Or they have like an automated system where like they're banning these accounts that are being view botted and like they're clearly scams. But a lot of like the types of scams that you like the phishing methods are like go to this fake forum, go to this YouTube video, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of it is taken off of like Jagex's within their reach, just outside their reach, I guess is the right way to say it.
Yeah. So I guess what they should fix is what they said here, the account recovery and authenticator and whatnot.
Yeah, they need to improve it. I don't like the concept of if someone knows too much about me and they're able to recover my account. You know what the best solution is in this game? To make a new account with fake details.
Yeah.
Obviously, use like a Gmail or something with like a legitimate good 2-step. Don't use like Outlook that lasts sometimes for only a week. Yeah, like use like a random email with random information that you can remember, obviously.
Yes.
Have a bank pin, like
Yahoo's dead. Stay the fuck off of it.
yeah. But yeah, they do understand they need to add some additional support because there are some issues just with that. And speaking of support, with customer support, they want to talk about, or they want to tackle the belief that the only way to contact customer support is via Reddit and Twitter.
Which is, I wouldn't even say it's a belief. I would say it's just outright true.
It depends, because there is a long, like, to get your account back. I've had multiple friends that like do the typical thing when you make a new account on something, you use the same email and the same password.
Yeah. Okay.
But always with 3 of my friends that did this, within like 3 to 4 days, their account gets hacked and gets banned for botting. And it's like as if there's a weird system that gets flagged saying this email just made a RuneScape account.
Yeah.
It's really weird, because one of them, the one person was like, oh, you, like, hey, like Deagin, we kind of joke that you're always on RuneScape, even when you're like playing games or watching movies with us. We kind of always know you're doing something on RuneScape. It's like a little meme with my buddies.
Sure.
I convinced one of them to like actually give RuneScape a shot, and I made an account with them. It was fun. He, knew enough to like, he's got a 2-step. He uses unique passwords for everything, all that stuff. He didn't have an issue. But then the other friend was like, hey, I'll join in with you guys. Boom. 3 days in, account hacked. Gone. But then the waiting period to get your account back is a month.
Yeah.
And I had another friend who like was just like, man, you're always playing RuneScape. Is it that good? And of course, I'm like, dude, literally, it's the only, I've been playing this game for like 10 plus years. Like, it's that good. And it's, all right, I'll try it out. And then like that week he goes, I just got hacked. My account's gone. Yeah, just put in a support ticket. And then a month later, he's like, I got the account back. The waiting process is ridiculous. And like the most effective way it does seem to be is through Twitter and Reddit.
Mm-hmm. But it says here that they do want to, that there's a desire for more effective direct communication channels.
Yep.
So maybe putting in tickets and having it responded faster. Like nobody wants to put in a ticket and then have to check it like weeks in advance, Like I have problems with this podcast sometimes, but I'll put in a ticket on the hosting site that I use, and I can expect to get a reply by, 48 hours max. I'll get a response.
Yeah.
A good response too, not a bot.
Yeah. I can't imagine waiting a month and then getting some bullshit like, sorry, but your account has some botting suspicions. Like, no, it clearly got hacked and it's clearly been botted on by some guy. Like, what?
And the next topic they have here is for anti-cheating, aka botting.
Yeah, it feels like there are too many bots in some areas of the game, which is very true. But there's a perception that some of the bans are unfair or false. For example, bans apply when an account is hijacked. I mean, that just happens. I don't know how they're going to address it, but they do say, over the coming weeks and months, we want to build on the areas above and build a detailed understanding of what the main issues are for all players, not only those active on social media.
Yeah.
So, yeah. To demonstrate our commitment, these are the 3 things they aim to do this year. They will continue to survey all players rather than just those on Reddit and Twitter to understand that what you think is important from a customer support perspective. We'll use this to inform our priorities and measure our progress. The second thing is a series of detailed blogs on these topics will outline plans involving upgrading their system, account security, recovery, and lost items, challenging myths about support, toxicity in game. And the third will be updating you regularly when things get fixed, released, or improved.
Cool. That seems fair.
So they say that they won't promise the moon and deliver an orange. However, Jagex has already scheduled significant work on customer support and account management systems in 2019. Some of this is already underway in the background, and some won't begin until later this year. The reality is that many of our systems are bespoke, meaning we face legacy issues.
AKA they have an old system that needs updating.
Yeah, engine work. We are working to improve our systems and processes, And in 2019, we have already increased our investment in these areas. And there's more to come. And, we understand that this is our problem and not yours. But we also want you to understand our situation and then hopefully see why some of the support you currently receive isn't as good as it needs to be. Please understand that we are changing that. To be totally honest, there are no quick fixes. These significant issues take time to tackle, and they'll talk about it openly and honestly as we can in the coming months. Jagex customer support team members, tools, and systems both serve Old School and RS3, so we will be sharing this to both communities.
All right, it's pretty cool for them to see all that written down, right? It's
yeah,
it seems fair, and they're being very transparent about it, which is cool.
My main thing is just like I don't know how they're going to deliver on it. I don't know.
I think the idea isn't to make it perfect, but to make it better.
So honestly, the only thing I want is to not when I get off RuneScape, I bank everything.
I do not.
I always bank. I'm always naked when I log into the game. Always. Because even though I have pins, I have unique pins, passwords, 2 steps, everything is secure. No one knows my login. Everything is as secure as possible. I'm still I don't trust RuneScape security enough. I literally have to use everything to the extreme where if I'm logging off, I'm gonna be at a bank with everything in it, because worst case scenario, they're gonna have to guess a pin that I literally chose random numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the point where I have difficulty remembering it because it's just random. I feel like if my account ever does get hacked and someone's able to log into my account with all these measures, literally my answer is to liquidate everything that I can, move it onto another account, and now I gotta restart everything.
Yeah.
Let's be real. If someone logged into my account and actually hacked me and just whatever, I would just probably real world trade the rest of my shit, get banned, and start an Iron Man.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's Iron Man time.
Actually though, that's my, if I lose everything or I lose something and my account's been compromised, I already know what I'm gonna do, because there's no other solution.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have friends that have been hacked 8-9 times. I'm not the accounts get straight up recovered because some childhood friend or someone just knows, you know what I mean? Or maybe they leaked too much on stream, or maybe they did something and someone's able to get in and they're like, no, it's okay. And then boom, they get they are constantly in a rebuild because people are constantly logging into hacking. And I'm like, dude, that's such a messed up concept. That's the one thing I want Jagex to actually take away is the ability to truly have a secure account, or to at least a reliable way to re-secure the account. Yeah, we need a system that's not based on obscurity, pretty much, is what I'm saying.
Which is fair.
Anyways, on to the next thing, which is fixing old content. We are frequently asked to place less focus on new content and instead concentrate more on existing content. Player activity data proves that new content is a big driver for the community, but nonetheless, we strongly agree that older content needs some more attention. Work has already been moving in that direction. Although January kicked off with the Cables expansion, most of the updates since have been concentrated on existing content, such as Chambers of Xeric, some features to the permanent Deadman world, and, March.
Yeah.
Quality of life stuff. Or February, but, or it was. Yeah.
March is when we finished up with the quality of life. I mean, we're still getting some trickling in, but,
Yeah. Moving forward, though, we definitely feel there's more to be done, especially in regard to neglected content. In particular, players have provided numerous suggestions for rebalancing older weapons so that more weapons have more useful niches, updates to various minigames. Over the past few months, we have been adding new developers to Old School, and you can expect to see their impact on the game soon. These differences will become more obvious through April, both in our communications and our updates.
So it's kind of a tricky one. Some content definitely needs to be revisited, but you're not going to, I don't know. I don't know if their intention is to make every piece of content useful to some. And when they're talking about weapons, I'm totally okay with some weapons being useless. Everything doesn't need to fit in some category, only because like that's kind of what makes RuneScape cool, where like I stumble across some weapon that nobody uses, and I'm like, holy shit, I forgot this was a thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what they mean by rebalancing old weapons. Like, I don't...
Like, I think they're like, well, in some instances, a dragon longsword should be better than a dragon scimitar. Or like a rune badlack should be better than a rune scimitar in some instances, which is like, I get it, you know, through that part of the game, you're kind of using bronze to dragon scimitars to train.
Yeah.
I don't see what the problem is with that, though.
Maybe some people just missed the... This is a whole nostalgia episode, but miss the days of like, I'm training with a dragon dagger because I just have one. I mean, I did that when I first got my dragon dagger. Hell, I was so pumped to use it.
Yeah.
And dragon longsword, I'm like blasting that thing out. But eventually you learn that the dragon scimitar is the best. And you're like, whatever. Okay, it is what it is.
But it's just like, you can look at RuneScape as a spreadsheet and you want to min-max, right?
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be up to Jagex. Like, if I want to sit there and only use a dragon scimitar because I know that's the best, I can't be upset that I want to use a dragon scimitar because it's the best. You know, some people you'll see people in this game that we call cute noobs or units or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Training with dragon longswords. They have like ridiculous outfits that like aren't optimal. And it's kind of like, oh, look at that cute noob. But it's like they're having fun doing what they're doing. They don't look at RuneScape as a spreadsheet like a lot of us do. And it shouldn't be up to Jagex to like treat people who want to min-max that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it.
The only thing I could see is maybe bringing the dragon longsword a little bit closer to the dragon scimitar, not so that it's better in some situations, but maybe so that if you are training with it, you're not going to be punished at a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then you get someone who goes like, well, then what's the point? Monkey Madness should be a rite of passage to get the best experience. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be that shithead that's like, I'm using a spreadsheet. I should be rewarded for it at all times. I should, like, I get it. Like, RuneScape, like, knowledge is power in life, but also in, like, RuneScape, where it's like, you spend the time going on the wiki and you find out that, like, hey, this longsword I've been using, I can actually just do Monkey Madness in a scimitar. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can't be like, Jagex, can you make it so like the battle axe is better in these instances? And just like, because I enjoy looking at the information and min-maxing. Some people don't care, right?
Yeah.
And they get like ridiculed to it, generally in an innocent way, or you get help. It's not like, okay, well, Neve's Cave back in the day, people got bullied into getting barrel gloves. You know what I mean? You saw a guy in like level 125 with combat bracelet. He's getting ripped into. You know what I mean? Which, I mean, get your goddamn barrel gloves.
Yeah.
But like, it's weird. There are some things that like should like the mini game aspect. I think we should have the ability to play them. You know,
okay, like last man standing.
Yeah, I should be able to realistically play it, but I can't.
Yeah, because you need 26 people to do a round.
But even then, like that trouble
brewing.
I don't even know what the hell the mini game's called. Yeah. It's so dead. But I should realistically, I want to play it. I should be able to play it for fun, but I can't really. I have to sit there and wait. I'm thankful enough that I enjoy doing Barbarian Assault, and it's really good, and you can do it for a diary. Like, I'm thankful, like, when I get that mood to do a quick run, or have someone leave right before the queen because they got their points.
What would you say about adding, not to every minigame, but adding a pet to some minigames, like trouble brewing? What would you do? What's your opinion on if they added, let's say, a pet monkey that you could get?
That doesn't, like, fix the issue, though.
But it would bring some more people to wanting to try it, and some people would have fun playing it.
We might be rehashing like the same discussion. Is it bringing the right people?
As long as it doesn't matter though. Like, it's dead at this point. Don't you just want to bring people?
But like, if you're there for the wrong reasons.
But like, Castle Wars, if you took out some of those rewards that you get from it, you'd lose a big chunk of people playing it. And then I just wouldn't play it. Now I can play right now because there are Pkers there grinding out the headbands and stuff.
And AFKing, no.
Well, but still, like
because they hate it, but they just want an item. Like they're there for the wrong reason.
But there are people who are going to be playing it, which means like, oh, I can actually play it. Whereas if they didn't add those in, it would just be dead. And you might get a couple people playing. You know, look at the free to play Castle Wars.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's dead. I'm shocked, but it is because I guess.
Well, it's just because Rune's too good.
And it's also the fact that, like,
a level, like on release, I was part of the issue.
We are the problem because 120, level 70s are sitting there having fun, and then 120s coming in like, all right, boys, let's do this.
Hey, my protection prayers are off, and I'm just going to walk the flag back and forth.
Yeah.
Let's just walk it out, baby. Like, yeah, of course. But a lot of these, it's super weird because it's like, hey, Jagex, thanks for giving the community the game to the community. Like the community has all the power, but you also gotta fix us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just a problem. It's too many demographics in the game.
But like the whole like bringing the wrong people to the mini game. It's like if people are there just for a pet, they're gonna scare off the people that are there for fun, and those are the people that do like the competitive Castle Wars community where they just kind of sit there and play. They were like, okay, they're competitive, but they do it because they love it, right?
Yeah, but the thing is like I joined their Discord because I was like, I want to get in and like see what's up. There's not many people who do it. There's like 10 people into that scene. Yeah. Which is like, okay, it's kind of cool, but I was expecting like way bigger events and stuff. And I tried to sign up to an event and it was like kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Because they already had like established teams and shit.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you can't have just a random. You need to, do you know someone?
Yeah. But like, that's kind of like that's kind of like a result of like what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like the people that really do enjoy something, they kind of have to keep it alive as long as they can. At some point, they have to build walls, Yeah.
Well, I guess. But I'm not. It's hard to say really what they mean. I guess we'll find out in the future, right? When they figure out what piece of content they're actually gonna give some TLC to, some tender love and care.
Not to sound pessimistic, but I feel like it won't ever be enough.
Well, like, should it be though? Like, why focus all these assets into past content when you're just kind of make it so it's good enough? Like Last Man Standing, make it so that 4 people could start a game if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, that's good enough. I don't think you'll ever get it to being super popular, and might take too much work and too many. You're gonna need like to poll and like it's just look to the future a bit too, right? You don't want to spend too much time on this stuff. You do
like
want
8 poll with revisits and updating, and this is actually what we mean by
really it's like you should also be focusing on raids 3, something like that, right?
Yeah, I could never give you a good solution for something like mini games or like rebalancing older weapons and stuff. The only answer is like the people that are advocating for it are doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I mean, there's some ideas that they've pitched and that I thought were good. So before we move on, I'll just quickly mention in the past, they've talked about having a minigame shop, just a general minigame shop.
Yeah.
That sold like cosmetics and stuff like that. You would get points from different mini games.
They're rotated each week or something.
I don't know if it was they said they wanted to rotate it, but I do think they should have rotating. The reason they didn't want to is because they didn't want people like, well, I'm only doing Castle Wars because it's the rotating game mode. People didn't want that, but I feel like do it because it's kind of like what we were talking about with PvP. You're never going to get it to where you guys want it to.
Yeah.
Just because of how the community is. So having it rotating weekly, you get bonus mini points for doing this game.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it's like, all right, I might not have fun at Trouble Brewing, so I'm just going to do it to get the points, which is like, at least for the people who are having fun with it, they can at least play it with more than 2 people.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that's like a good enough.
Let's move on to, bug fixes. So we know in the past couple of months there have been some high profile issues with content releases. This has rightly led to many questions from the community about our processes, and some believing that our launches are being rushed. And we acknowledge that none of this has been good enough, and we apologize for that, but they'd like to tell you what they're doing to improve. So they've restructured the process to allow for more testing time prior to release, and they've begun investing more in better tooling to help increase test coverage and prevent major issues. One of the tools being developed would have directly prevented the recent Twisted Bow issue and the subsequent rollback. We've reviewed our release processes and are making changes to improve the stability of our releases. And it has always been standard practice for us that when an issue arises, it is discussed, investigated into the root cause, and then they learn from it. We're continuing this with a view to fix the issues as their source as opposed to temporary solutions. So I'm pretty sure they're saying in a really weird way that they have been rushed. Because they're allowing more time to test things. I feel like they're just going to allow more time for things to come out.
Well, maybe they'll have it done, because it does seem like it's done, boom, get it out there. Whereas now it's like, it's done, let's sit on it for a week and start testing things, right?
Mm-hmm. So some of these changes may impact the rate we deliver our updates as the team gets up to speed. Our goal will be to minimize this disruption and make sure you are getting a better service overall. Every single person in the old school team is dedicated to the quality of our releases, all that good stuff. All the changes improve are being made as a team. This goes from the idea to development to release and everything in between. And at the end of the day, everyone in the team plays and loves the game too. And we care about providing something we all enjoy. We genuinely appreciate your passion and that you care enough to call us out on this. Please keep doing it. It holds us to account and ensures we make the necessary improvements.
Cool. Sounds good. I mean, it does seem like they're being maybe rightfully so, but it seems like they're being a little harder on themselves.
I mean, 2 rollbacks in like 6 months is pretty bad.
I mean, yeah, but it's good that they're addressing it.
Defense experience issue.
Yeah, we'll get into that too in a bit.
Well, like even what we talked about before, but like having the staff not give the right experience, would have actually been like 2 minutes of QA testing. You know what I mean? Like,
so I do feel like they have weekly updates, which is kind of crazy for an MMO. So these problems, of course, are going to happen if you don't have a week. Every week you have a new update. That's very easy for things to slide through, right? Most games will have like a quarterly update where they have like, the patch notes, and it's fucking pages and pages long of all these changes. Whereas Jagex, they'll do it every week. They'll change a little bit instead of one big release.
But if they're willing to do that, they do need to like understand that they can't just like, all right, update done and live game. It's announced in the game.
All right, guys, let's go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And it's like, it's good on them to be addressing it.
Yeah.
And next we have polling. Deagin's just getting hydrated, so I'll take this one. We've all seen your request to hide poll results. We polled it previously, and we've discussed it on live streams before. The truth is that we think there's more to address with the polling system than simply hiding the poll results. It's important for us to understand why you want the poll results hidden and what you think it would solve. To do that, we need to understand how you feel about polling in its entirety, rather than making changes without understanding the roots of the problem. Polling is a very important factor in what makes old school RuneScape the game it is. However, a small percentage of players are actually voting. I mean, if you look at the polls, it's what, like 5 to 20,000. I want to say it's like 5,000 people are voting.
It's like 30-ish.
Yeah, it's like 30,000 people vote versus there's 100,000 players on at any given time.
Yep.
Let alone people are coming on in a week, right? How many unique plays you have coming on during that whole entire week? Yep. A lot more, right? So they want to know, why are players not voting? Are they unaware of the polls, or do they just not care enough? Are they not invested, or do they not trust their opinion enough? And they say, I'm going to leave it to the high level people because I might vote for something and be ignorant on what it's going to cause.
Mm-hmm. Real talk. I'll open up the polls, see if if the majority of the things are 90, or like, you know what I mean? If it's just like a blowout of like what the percentages are, I just like, there's no point. Mm-hmm. Like I'm very like bad about that. But like, so that's why I think, like, for me personally, I mean, you guys know I have some very strong opinions about stuff, and so I really don't mind voting. But if I see anything that's like this is going through, this just isn't going through, right? Obviously, there's like a margin that I'm like, yeah, you never know. Then I'll like actually take the time to like go and vote. But if they were to hide poll results, then like that would definitely, you know what I mean? I don't know what the percentages are. So just to be safe, I will go through and vote. But like 9 times out of 10, it's like, it's one-sided, right?
There's very few times where it's like 70. It happens though, but like, yeah, it's 74%. And like, oh, my vote actually matters. But yeah. They also address here that an example of one of the challenges they face is the meme of vote no to PvP polls.
Yeah.
Most people are aware of this, but there's the joke that if any poll is related to PvP, PVMers are going to say no. They don't care. They're not even going to read it. They're just going to click no. Because they fuck PvPers. They make my life difficult when I need to go into the wilderness.
Yeah.
It's difficult when it comes to polling content when it only benefits a small niche group of players, while still having a minimal impact on the wider player base. So maybe some Iron Man polls and stuff like that are a good example of it. But before they can actually tackle how they can resolve this problem, they need to establish what we as the community actually think about a poll that has nothing to do with us, but won't affect us either, right? Like the corp having, like Iron Man having their own corp room.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't really matter to me. I have my opinions, but it's not affecting me whether it's in or it's not, for the most part. And they also want to know, are you happy with what are you happy about the polls right now? Or, is there a better way of actually doing it in general? So they say they've been taking questions and answers and basically figuring out where to go with the whole polls. It might need a whole revamp from the bottom up, right?
Well, the issue is just how it is, where people don't, a very small group of people that like vote in the game are doing it for the longevity of the game. We talked about when like 6 hour splashing was a thing. Nobody wanted that out of the game.
Yeah, there's polls. So yeah, you could splash. So you could cast a spell on a rat, and then if you have full like armor on, you're always gonna miss, so it's gonna splash. But with magic, you still get experience for splashing. And what happened was you could splash, and you're not taking damage from rats either because it's such low levels. But you could splash for 6 hours before the systems actually kicked you out.
Yeah,
that people were getting like magic was like devalued.
The joke, like, it was so bad that like people, like the memes that were on the subreddit at the time was like the magic cape was like replaced with Magikarp.
Yeah,
the symbol would be Magikarp because everyone, and then even like people like Max Combat was from people AFK Guthans for 6 hours in NMZ.
Yeah.
Now it's 20 minutes because just the way they had to change it all. But when they did the update, or they did like they polled what people wanted, and at the time everyone was like, "Oh, keep the shit in."
Yeah, that's the thing. They failed, all of them. And then they came with a game integrity dev blog, and they're like, "No, we're removing this. That was a test, and you guys failed."
Yeah. So like Jagex has to know that when they release a poll, which why it frustrates me, the way they word some of the things, is that they word it so people just vote with what they want out of the update. Like how am I gonna benefit from this? And they like sometimes they vote for stuff that's like, that's what they want people to vote yes. You can just tell because it's like, I don't know if the average person really cares about like the game enough, or like if they had like a poll, or like Twitter versus Twitlonger, you can click sweat Twitlong, and it's like this novel on like some person's thought. Like if Jagex had like an expanded version of the poll being like, this is what we believe it would do to the game. This is our opinion on why this is important and why we think like we're polling it now. This is why we're polling, you know what I mean? If they like really went into like their whys and hows and what's they're polling, it would maybe help make players think more about the game than themselves.
Well, that's the problem. People will vote selfishly, and it's not just a RuneScape specific thing.
It's how people are.
It's just like with government and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You have well, we should tax the rich a lot more than we tax the people. And then people who have a lot of money are like, fuck that. Why should I get taxed for just working hard and building my business from the ground up? Why should I get taxed harder than you? Obviously, there's outliers. There always is. You have I think it was Bill Gates who was like, no, you should tax us a lot more than what you already are. Yeah. Because if I have to pay whatever, 100 million in taxes, it's still a drop in the bucket for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair chunk, but still.
Yeah, for him, it's nothing. But
just an example, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of how it is, but yeah, they're wanting to kind of collect more data to be like, how can we do this better?
Yeah, my opinion, they have to give players the opportunity to understand what the polls can do to the game, because if we go back to that whole Iron Man Sandstone thing, we're like, oopsies, 1 mil experience per hour. Oopsies, Iron Man just banked max crafting in a couple days, waiting for this update to come out with Super Glass Make, and they did it in a day. Oopsie, that was a big fuck up on their part. And then the people that understood it advocated hard on the subreddits and Twitter and stuff to get it, because they knew how much they'd benefit from it. If you really cared about Iron Man, you wouldn't let that go through, because sure, you're trying to make it hard for us, blah 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 blah. But if you can get 99 construction, if you can get 99 crafting in 13 hours of gameplay, or I guess 14 or 15 including gathering the resources, that ruins one of the most important skills, or now you can just get a Fury ASAP, or you know what I mean? You now have 99 crafting in that's ridiculous, But if they were to be super transparent on what their thoughts are on all this stuff, it gives the opportunity for other players to kind of think in terms of how it's going to affect the game, than as opposed to myself.
But yeah, I guess we'll see when the polls for the polls come out.
Yeah, and everyone votes for the polls to not be hidden again.
Yeah. And then last on here is the state of PvP. So they say here that it looks like the JMods have forgotten about PvP, but strengthening PvP in the competitive scene is a key priority of theirs. Why? Well, it's because the events they have had, the PvP tournaments, the Deadman Mode tournament, I guess the Wildy Wars, that one time they did it, they were pretty big. They were very successful. So they definitely aren't just going to leave it for where it is. They want to continue improving it because, well, from a marketing standpoint, those streams they do, they do what they're supposed to do. People complain shit, why are you giving away $30,000 to players? Spend that money on other JMods coming into the company. When really that money is marketing money that's going to be either used for commercials or advertising in some way. And then they sat down and they said, let's do tournaments that seem to work. And it does. It brings the old school stream to the top 5 Twitch channels while they're going on. So they definitely do work. So yeah, PvP is not something they just tend to sit on, but they understand that it's not as easy as just adding in weekly updates for it, because it affects a lot of different things, and you never want to ruin. If you you can add an update that could ruin the PvP scene pretty easily, right? Mm-hmm. Having one weapon too strong or whatever it is. And then they go on to say that when it comes to coming out with updates for the PvP scene, it's more than just asking the PvPers what they want, whereas that's important, but it's also important to get it from every other group as well. Because ideally, if you're a PVMer, it would be nice if you still did PvP on the side for fun. Mm-hmm. They don't want to just, okay, you PVM, we're not going to ask you these questions, but they're going to say well, what can we do to bring you into the wilderness to actually want to PK?
Yeah.
So
the annoying thing with that though, the shady thing with or I guess the big barrier of PvP updates, and it's back to wilderness rejuvenation. Is that it's like if you have super high IQ and you've seen one episode of Rick and Morty,
right?
You know, like the Mr. Meeseeks where like he wrote me into it.
Yeah,
that's like what they did, but everyone's pointing at Jagex and PvPers, being like, I don't want this to be in it. It's like, why, you just hate PvPers? Well, no, well, you guys forced me to interact with these people, and I don't want it. You wrote me into this discussion. I don't want to be here. Like, if you know, like I don't want new PvP armors to be a thing because, well, now it's going to affect my PvM experience. It shouldn't, but it does because you roped me into this conversation, and I don't want to be here. I just want to, it's like, I just want to go home. Like, I just like, no, I'm going to just hit no. I'm walking out. RTV, no, it's not RTV, the map. We're going to vote to stay or vote, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like back in the day on CS or something, you're surfing, you just hit one and I don't care what happens. Like, just get me away from this stupid menu. It kind of seems to be like a big thing that holds PvP back, and it's a shame, but like it's an outcome that they kind of should have foreseen.
Yeah, well, they do go on to say that they have discussed with themselves and us about reworks to Bounty Hunter and Last Man Standing in the past. But they don't want to just do a quick fix that will sprout problems down the road. Instead, they want to tackle a problem that like helps the majority of players, right? Whereas you do a fix for Last Man Standing, it's going to help. Some people are going to be happy about that, but most people not really going to care. And then for Deadman mode, we know that the content changes they've done for the spring and the summer Deadman modes seasons have been disappointing to our dedicated Deadman players. This was a conscious decision we made. We did it to breathe new life into Deadman mode. And we have some monumental changes coming later this year, and we are sure they will blow you away. We aren't able to share precise details just yet, but we've never attempted anything to the scale that we're planning. Oh God, I'm sweating.
No.
I am sweating.
EOC. let's hear it.
You pick when you join Deadman mode, it's like a dice rolls and like you're RuneScape 3 player. And you're like, shit, I got 1,000 health. All right, let's do this. Yeah. Anyways, the last paragraph here says we've spoken about how we want to involve you, but it's equally as important to make sure we are strengthening our in-house team with a new director of community and the impending arrival of a head of esports. Whoa, what a job title. Coupled with continued recruitment of content developers, we're positioning ourselves to be able to take PvP and competitive gaming further than ever before. Nice. They end this one strong.
Arenas. They're finally listening to us.
Maybe. I mean, they had ideas for it in the past, too.
No, it's our idea. We came up with it.
This is true.
Go back to episode 1 or 2 and we're like, PvP, arenas.
Give us the arenas. And then I want to be the NPC. I want to be decked out in like third age gear. I want to be like Joseda's can't hate us because he ain't us, like his cousin.
Yeah.
I want like third age gear and like actually no, give me full dragon, like dragon plate body and stuff.
Make the name like Dan Dilzarian or something.
Yeah, you could do. I mean,
on that air quotes poker player, but really Stow's was a big Ponzi scheme or some shit. And
he's a trust fund kid, but
laundered money into his son's life, and now he's super rich. But
I mean, I'd be pretty pissed if they're like, "Yeah, we added you to the game," and I went there and it's Dan Dilzarian. I was like, "You fucking dick!"
Yeah.
Hey, look, his name is Dildo. That's not even funny. The hell is this?
This is just mean. Yeah. I'm holding a trident and a dragon defender, and that's it.
I'm locked in a cage, and there's just people throwing tomatoes at me.
Deagin's just throwing tomatoes at me. It's my NPC just hucking tomatoes.
And anyways, they wrap up the whole dev blog here with saying, Old School has grown with, and because of the deep connection between the team and the players, this blog is just the start of how we will work together to make this game even better. We know we have a way to go, and we know this will be a journey. We want to bring you all on the journey with us. That was a mouthful.
Yeah,
but it is cool to see them saying stuff like this. And
I wonder if this is the start to the curse of the 7-year life cycle, What if this is like the reckoning type thing?
Yeah, you see this? It's like this is when every MMO dies. Or it's like trying to think of something where it's like a bunch of civilizations would get to a point and then they would
When the Fire Nation attacked? Avatar meme?
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, it's like North America. The natives are on the shoreline. You ever hear? Is it Jacques Cartier that like has like a diary thing when they first came to North America, and there's the Indian like tribes leader, Native American. Ooh, that was a big no. But there's a native like tribe leader who like was on the shore, and he like pointed to each corner of like the distance, and he pointed like back to himself when they're like out in the waters, like either leaving or like looking up, like surveying the land. You ever hear that story?
No.
Oh, well, fast forward a couple years later, they give them all smallpox.
Okay, I've heard that part.
But like, I don't know. I don't know where the comparison is to that. I don't even know why I brought that up.
See, when I thought you were talking about the Dave Chappelle skit.
One.
I can't remember it all, but there's a bunch of different scenes where it's like, hey, this looks like a good idea. And then something happens and they're like in a bad position. Like, man, we fucked up. And it keeps doing that for a bit. And then it shows them on the shorelines. And I don't know if they're he's pretending to be like the natives, or if he's pretending to be like from like Africa or something. And anyways, the ships come up and they're like, hey, there's a bunch of white people on the boats. Maybe they just want to come hang out and stuff. And then it flash forwards, they're all chained up in the boat. Like, man, we fucked up. It's irrelevant, but I don't know.
Yeah, which might be one of those big reckoning, the big moment of reckoning.
Yeah, so you heard it here first. If this game goes downhill by 2020, look at this dev blog and be like, they were too transparent and they were over ambitious.
Title this, we max combat and like parentheses, end of time or end of days or something.
Little did we know the game was ruined. We will definitely see.
Yeah. So speaking of, I guess PvP related stuff, Deadman 2019 finals will run between Saturday, March 23rd till Saturday the 30th.
AKA this Saturday is the Deadman mode tournament.
Yep. No Rings of Suffering, which is huge.
Yep.
That is huge. And everyone, they'll be broadcast whenever a supply chest is looted. They're going to mess up and put the supply chest in the live game. And you're going to have like level like 30, like Inferno Cave.
just like that?
Huh.
And he's banned.
He's killing everyone in Falador. Oh my god.
Oh god, he's got the potato.
But yeah, they have a brand new arena made for the final 1v1 stage, which will start with 256 players.
Yeah, they custom do these arenas every time, and they look awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They look very cool.
And then right after the final hour, they always will start a new season. So the summer season will start right afterwards. Barrels will come out on the 7th day of the new season. They added more potions to the Bounty Hunter store, so you can now buy Super Combats, Extended Anti-Fire, Zamrock Brews, and Antidote Plus.
All right.
Interesting.
Is it?
Extended Anti-Fires, I'm assuming for Rune Dragons.
Mm.
And then the first 4 weeks of the season, certain activities will yield double drops for their uniques. Week 1 Revenants, Week 2 Barrows, Week 3 God Wars bosses, Week 4 Wilderness bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why are God Wars before Wilderness? What crazy thing do you need from a Wilderness boss? Like, that's
Rings, the wards, Obdium, and not malicious. What's it called?
Oh, the Odium Malediction wards.
Yeah, malediction. Supplies.
But wouldn't you like
dragon pickaxes, baby? Want to run that Chamber of Xeric?
Shouldn't that be before God Wars? You're getting bonus drops from like.
They have their reasons. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, who knows? And then we'll talk about some quality of life changes, which this first one I didn't realize I am so against, and it's for one meme and one meme only. They did a graphical update to Karamja gloves. So now they match the diaries of like easy, medium, hard, like they're consistent.
Yep.
But now I can't wear Karamja gloves and tell people I have angler gloves. I used to love doing that because they're green and they match the angler outfit perfectly.
I had a feeling it had to do with the angler outfit. Yeah. It matches so well.
And because there's also like the meme of like you tell someone to go get the angler gloves as part of the outfit.
God, what a horrible thing.
And then they're stuck doing fishing trawler for like 12 more hours before they look at the wiki and they're like, oh.
At least I got like 6 manta rays.
Yeah. The Black Knight kill score is now tracked in the Wanted Quest Journal and shown in the POH Achievement Gallery.
Cool.
An equipable oily rod. So you now may use blamish oil on the pearl fishing rod and use it to catch lava and infernal eels.
The equipable rods are such great fashionscape.
Yeah, but getting them?
Yeah, pain in the ass, but still.
The chat box open and closed state will now be preserved over logouts. That makes sense. So if you have it closed, when you log in or out, it'll stay that way instead of always opening.
Cool.
And then the pure XP bug that we talked about last month, and they pretty much tell you how to fix it. So if you don't know what the pure XP bug is, when they did the quality of life with remembering of your attack styles, it changed. Everyone's reset. Everyone's attack styles are set in default to attack and stuff. But the big thing is that there were like staves specifically, so it affected like Omni Mall accounts and stuff. But like some of the weapons weren't given the right experience for the attack styles, and there was a lot of really weird issues. So people got defense experience when they should have been getting strength. And Jagex was like resetting some of the accounts, forgot some, reset some main accounts that weren't even involved in the scenario. And then,
which is what I had planned to talk about for community chatter, but hey, we're talking about it. So let's bring it up. So an Iron Man named Iron Dairy, he had his defense reset. He has a picture that he put on Reddit where he has 1 defense, and he's showing the quest points he have, which is 269. And you need defense to get some of the quests done. So there's no way. So he was not rightfully, but his defense was lowered. So he goes and makes a big ruckus about it, as one would do. And the JMods were like, okay, no problem. We will give you back your experience. So he must have been like 90 something or whatever, but he had like 7.6 mil experience that he lost. So when they went to go give him back his defense experience, they put, instead of 7.6 million defense experience, must have hit an extra 0, and they gave him 76 million defense experience.
Oops.
Yeah, a little bit of an oops.
Oops. Rank 1 defense, EHP for hour, day, month.
Yeah, so now if you're like,
oops.
So if you're an EHP player and you look at it, you're like, great, if I want to get number 1 spot, I got to get 76. I have to get more than 76 million experience in 1 hour. Better start saving up those genie lamps. Which I don't even know if you can you? Can you save up multiple genie lamps?
Yeah.
You can? Okay.
Yeah, but so grats to this guy for getting free for gaming the system. But there's also Zerker accounts that randomly just got and they're like, hey, look, I'm in like Zerk gear. I have barrel gloves equipped. I have 1 defense. But if they try and like make use of this like mess up from Jagex, they're gonna get banned for bug abuse.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, good evening, Jagex. Please fix my issue so I can play this game. Some people still like haven't gotten any response. But yeah, you know what would have been really nice if I played on my Obby Mauler and did Soulsbane, got Varrock Medium Diaries, and then got my defense set back. So I have like the better chest. But then I get banned. But
if you
nice
were affected,
novelty.
yeah, exactly. That would be cool and helpful for PvP.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you were affected by this bug, you have a little less than a month to submit your ticket in.
Mm-hmm.
So April 22nd is when they will be closing their support for this. I guess because they don't want like in 6 months from now to still having to like deal with this issue. So I guess it makes sense. But as a bonus, if you were affected, you will get a free 21 days of membership for their gratitude towards your patience.
Yep.
So cool, Jagex.
Yeah.
You guys being pretty nice these days.
Imagine being able to play a busted account for like 20 days and then like, you're not banned, but here's a free month of membership, baby.
She
almost a month, but
lastly, this is some big news.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone loves voting so much. Well, vote again, but not in RuneScape. Vote it in somewhere else. So they say, we are delighted to announce that Old School RuneScape has been nominated to win the EE Mobile Game of the Year award at this year's BAFTA Games Awards. I don't know what any of those acronyms mean, but they're there. The release of Old School on mobile was met with phenomenal reception, and we hope that with your vote, we can bring the award back to Jagex HQ. Voting is open for UK residents or those of you with UK phone numbers. Okay. Wait, so I can't even vote?
Let's just move on. Irrelevant. Oh, so you put in your RuneScape name, your password, your mother's maiden name.
But these are the games that are up for the award. All Stars? Never heard of it. I might have to try it out. Clash Royale? It's kind of a good game. I haven't played in a long time because it's very pay to win, but
I see a lot of people playing on the bus.
Yeah. It's fun for the few bits that I played it. Fortnite Mobile. Fuck those bastards.
Yeah.
Old School RuneScape. Pokemon Go. I still see people playing it. Yeah. Actually, I started playing Pokemon Fire Red on my phone, just using an emulator. And I was talking about it with someone, and they were like, we were chatting, but I was kind of confused. And then I realized they thought I was playing Pokemon Go. And then lastly, Roblox. I know that game's hugely popular. No idea what it is. Do you?
I know there's a lot of game modes. It's like it would have been the equivalent of like us playing Habbo Hotel, but you can like play shooters and like it's like Minecraft meets Habbo Hotel.
Interesting.
I've never played it, but it's the best thing I can draw from it. Kids play it. It's super weird. It's like maybe like kind of like Gary's mod, I guess, where there's like really weird modded servers you can play.
That's interesting. I do know it is the like biggest mobile game. Like,
yeah, like, dude, little kids love playing it. Hopefully Old School is up there, but you know, against Fortnite and Roblox,
that's the problem.
Yeah,
that it's going to be competitive.
But hey, it's up there. It's on that list,
and like only people in the UK can vote on it.
Which might be a benefit, though.
It might be a benefit.
Yeah, so straight up, even if the polls aren't hidden, vote because hey, you gotta you know, we don't want that game to be last. If it's like second or third, you know what I mean? If it lost to Fortnite and Roblox, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because those are like they're titans.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you are from the UK, you may need to bring me up to bring me onto the same page. I think EE is a phone provider.
Oh.
I think so. I'm looking at the site right now, and it's kind of confusing because it says like pay. There's a section that says pay monthly and billing and payments and current usage, and then it has a part like upgrade to the Samsung Galaxy S10.
Okay, yeah, so it's probably like a cell phone provider type thing.
So I guess it makes sense why you need to be in the UK.
Yeah,
because it's there specifically. What a marketing ploy, though, eh?
Yeah.
Up next, Rogers Game of the Year, but you need to own cable, home phone, cell phone, and internet to vote.
And like, or like app of the year, and it's that like, what's that Chinese like social app that people that the Chinese Facebook?
I don't know. I know there's a Korean one like called Kikuru or something like that.
Yeah, like, they just have like those apps. The whole UA cell phone tower meme. But
yeah, if you can go vote, go ahead and vote. It would, I guess, look nice, right?
Yeah. And
maybe we'll all get a bunch of free Twisted Bows as a reward.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I guess that's basically it for news. Which also means that's it for community chatter because I had already brought that part up. Which means we move on to the segment where normally we would teleport back in time and talk about what was happening this week, 19 years ago. I don't do math, but we'll be talking about that. But guess what? Nothing happened this week. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the team is still very small at this point. So they aren't
one or three brothers or something.
There's a handful of people and probably people getting contracted in. And the sound effect for cooking at this point was still Ian Gower. No, I'm thinking Andrew Gower. Sorry, right? That's the guy who created it.
Well, their mother was like cooking.
Yeah, she was cooking bacon, and he recorded it. And he's like, I'm going to use that for cooking anything in RuneScape.
Ow! Shit. You hear like
fire alarm going off. So nothing really happened this week, which means we get to move right on to lore. When Xeric and his troop of men arrived to Mount Quidamortum, they began exploring the caves that were located there. Almost immediately, Tecton began construction within the caves to create a temple where they could practice and experiment with the magic and powers found inside these crystals. The crystals were everywhere within the caves. This meant any monster or person within the cave, especially if they had resided there for a long period of time, they'd be able to manipulate these crystals. While Xeric and his followers began exploring the caves, they stumbled across one section. This room seemed to be a lot different than the other parts of the cave. They noticed a weird sense coming from these crystals. Xeric noticed these crystals had caused a rip in time within this one section of the cave. Not knowing what this meant, Xeric was curious. Could this open up a more powerful magic from the crystals? He began trying his hand at manipulating this rift in time. Eventually, with the magic, he was able to open up this rift, causing a gateway into another dimension. Once opened, Xeric was unable to close this, and it became a doorway to the dimension known as the Abyss. The Abyss is a place where extremely dangerous creatures reside. And once this dimension was opened, it became a two-way mirror where people from the real world could get a glimpse of the Abyss, and vice versa. The creatures of the Abyss were able to see into the world of Gielinor. The creatures within the Abyss have an unknown power of magic within them. Not enough information is known about these creatures. But with this new gateway opened into the new dimension, a monster that looked like a massive wasp-like demon squeezed through the gateway into Gielinor and RuneScape itself. Xeric and his followers began to fight back, trying to slay this demon in hopes to cause it to flee back into the Abyss, hoping they could then close the gateway. Although they were unsure how to, as the magic, once opened this gateway, was too powerful for Xeric and his men. But this massive demon-like wasp was too strong for his followers. They fought, but soon it would seem like they were defeated. They left the cave to regroup and formulate a new plan. Xeric, as stubborn as he is, refused to accept defeat, and he went back in there with the plans to tame this creature, to make this creature part of his own crew, a weapon he could then use if he ever planned to return to the Great Krend and fight back for his throne. Xeric went in alone when he went to tame this creature, but his followers never knew if he actually tamed it or if yet he suffered another defeat. But we know soon after the construction and deconstruction of the temples within this cave, Xeric fled to an unknown location where his men don't know whether or not they will ever see him again. Within this cave, the creature still sits, fighting anyone who comes and disrupts its newfound hive. The creature is known to men as Vespula, but nobody knows if Vespula will ever return to the Abyss or if they found a new home within the chambers of Xeric. Now that we're back, we'll take a quick stroll to the Grand Exchange. So the first thing I want to talk about is Audible. If you like audiobooks, podcasts, or physical books, I kind of fucked that up, but you will enjoy audiobooks, or you might enjoy audiobooks. I mean, if you already enjoy audiobooks, then you'll enjoy these audiobooks.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And podcasts.
Yeah.
You
might enjoy audiobooks too. Definitely worth giving a shot. You can do that at audibletrial.com/wild, where you will get a free month and a free audiobook. You know, the best thing about it is you can try it for the month and you can get a full book, which is like 20 hours of content, and you can just cancel your subscription if you figure maybe you don't like it, or maybe it's too expensive or something, but you will keep that book. And if it is something you enjoy, then every month you get free credits for a book. Mm-hmm. And I do know that some of the audiobooks are pretty expensive. So if you want to just pay for them outright, it is pricey, but it does seem to, it's like a big job. You got to hire narrators and stuff. And there's some books that'll have like 3, you can choose which narrator you want.
Oh yeah. And they're like crazy voice actors and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's if you're, maybe you're out there working and you can listen to something, that maybe that's where you're listening to this. It might be worth checking out. So that's audibletrial.com/wild. But you can also support the show directly by going to patreon.com/thewilderness podcast. And our supporter of the week is Robert Yu. So thank you for supporting us. We greatly appreciate it. You know, I'm hoping to get these. I've been talking about these. I mean, hell, I've been talking about these for a couple months now about these like guest episodes. But I've been reaching out. I've been reaching out to some content creators and people who are like unique people within the community about coming on. And I've actually have two people that have responded about lining something up in the future. One is going to be in the summer because they have a project that they're finishing up, and which would be something that they would be talking about. So that will be in the future. And then one, hopefully in the next month or so. Now it's just about figuring out. Now it's just about figuring out a good time that we can both, you know, be on and not be busy, because I have school and they might have school as well, or they might have work. And so whatever it is, we have to find the right time to line it up. But I'm excited that I got 2 of the thumbs up already, even though one might be in the future, but still. And I have reached out to other people as well that, you know, just waiting for a response as well. So, that should be coming out sooner than later. The reason I bring it up now is because when they do come out, the idea is to have it come out a few days earlier on Patreon. But don't worry if you don't want to support us on Patreon, or you don't have the money, or whatever it is.
Get out.
Yeah, just you're done. No, you will get those bonus content coming out for free a couple days later, and it'll be coming on the same feed probably. I know some podcasts, they like open up another channel where they like have their different pieces of content. Like Hardcore History, they did that. They have the normal episodes coming out on Hardcore History, and then they have Hardcore History Addendum. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyways, in that he has different things like interviews and stuff like that, because he wanted to keep channels separate, sort of. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I would do that, because that might just get confusing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess let us know what you guys think. Would you want it all falling in the same feed? You know, let us know. And now that we've said all of that, let's bring it right home to what we have going on with the show. I've mentioned before that we have this event coming down the road. No date is planned yet, but it'll probably be either at the end of April or sometime in May. It really falls down to how my workload is at school, because it is getting close to the end, which means I might be getting some big projects handed to me. I'm not too sure, but I'll definitely be finding out soon. But the event's going to be a Jeopardy event. It's just, we're going to be playing Jeopardy, but instead of, you know, trivia, it's going to be all RuneScape trivia. We'll have 3 to 5 people to sign up for that. And it'll be just like the game show. I found templates online that you can choose, and each category, I think I worked out to be like 1.5 mil. So if there's like 6 categories, that's like, I don't know, do the math, 9 mil that you could win potentially, or 18 mil potentially, because that big question at the end, you can double your money, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keep your eyes out for that. There's going to be some good money to be had there. Yeah. If enough people like it, maybe we can do a couple events in, you know, maybe a couple in one day or different weekends or something. But yeah, keep your eyes out for that one. And we also have a book club coming on. So we're reading the novels from T.S. Church. There's 3 of them. The first one's Betrayal at Falador. So you can get on the Discord, and we're kind of picking a couple chapters each week and kind of reading through it. And there's a handful of us doing it right now, and I'm kind of busy. So the chapters have been very light. So what I'm trying to say is you can still catch up if you're interested in that and you're an avid reader. Yeah, that's all happening on Discord there. You don't have anything going on, right?
Working on that gold guide stuff.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Just cracking away out of that, writing down a script.
Yeah. My big issues are making it interesting for like a podcast.
Yeah.
I could just do like YouTube videos, but the people that prefer podcasts wouldn't get it. So like now I'm like,
it's an ocean out there too with YouTube content, right?
Like I just like want to. I said I'd do it, so I just want to get it done. I want to do it like well, and have like you guys be able to take something away from it. Like learn or. So it's pretty hard for me to like figure out how to make it interesting for a podcasting format. So like yeah, I've just been kind of tinkering with that type of stuff, testing out some things. But yeah, also, it's pretty much it. Like the next like couple, like this week and next week, a lot of like work. Like I've been working a lot, so I haven't had too much time to work on it this week as opposed to like before. But hopefully, I'll get that done soon enough.
Cool stuff. Sounds good. Yeah, if you want to hang out with us in game, you can do that at Wild CC. Our Facebook is facebook.com/The Wilderness Podcast. Our Twitter is @The Wilderness RS. And our email is thewilderness.podcast@gmail.com. And we have our Discord pinned on both Twitter and Facebook. And yeah, Deagin, you got your things.
Twitch, Twitter, Deagin RS.
Cool stuff. Our song of the week, not really randomly chosen. This is actually a song that I really enjoy, called Creature Cruelty, which is the song that is unlocked during the Tower of Life quest. Some trivia, the track seems to be a sadder version of the track Magic, 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 also unlocked during the quest. Oh, that's got to be next week then. I haven't heard that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really enjoy the song. It's for some reason. It was composed by Adam Bond. Came out February 19th, 2007.
Yeah, the inventor of old school bonds, actually.
Yeah,
they're
right.
named after him.
Oh.
Escape.
9. Yeah, double escape. That works too.
Not really, but
Yeah, bad jokes. Ending the show with a bang. Anything you want to say before we get on out of here?
Have a good one.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Till next week, our post-Max Combat grinds continue.
Yeah, have a good one.
Later, Gators.